So, this video is starting a bit different than my other videos. And that's because I have something to say. During the holidays and before that, I became ill, not death-threatening ill, but ill like everybody gets the flu or whatever. And I was really ill for 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, I decided to stop making YouTube videos. I really liked making them, but it's just so time consuming. It takes me about 8 to 10 hours to edit one video on average, and then of course you have to think of all the videos, how they start and end, what you're gonna film, what not, what you're gonna say, what not, etc, etc. So it's kind of taking over my whole existence almostly. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit right now, but you get the idea. It's time consuming, alright? With work and thoughts and everything. So I decided to quit. But I still had some videos scheduled. The ones you saw last week and the week before that. And especially last week, that video, I'm recording this on the day that has been posted. And I was kind of overwhelmed with all the responses I received, all the positive responses about my videos, my family, blessing for the new year. That really got me into a vibe again. So I want to thank you, everyone, for watching my videos, commenting my videos, and you've really pushed me back onto the horse, wanting to continue this journey on YouTube. So thank you for that. And yes, I'm probably going to change a couple of things in the journey to get it just more of a balance between everything. Learning Portuguese, taking care of my family, working on the land, studying new things that I need to learn, etc, etc. So maybe I'm going to change a couple of things on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe the frequency of the type of videos. But I just wanted to say thank you very much for all your positive and kind words in the comments of the last video. Alright, now let's start making a fruit forest.
Good morning! Welcome to sunny Portugal. In the previous episode, you could see us clearing the land, and that immediately gave us inspiration on how we could fill in that piece of land. We thought, why not make it into a food forest? So we bought a lot of trees and we'll just put them in the ground and see how it goes.
So the plan is to remove these concrete columns over here that's used to support the vineyard. The grapevines died, so they're not in use anymore. And then in this total area over here, we can plant 3 rows of trees. And if we have any additional trees left,
we've got some additional areas where we would like to plant some trees, but that I'll show you once we're there. So first what we want to do is remove those columns and see if we can do something with the brambles that are still in the ground. And for that we've lent this beast of a machine from friends, so we can turn over the ground and hopefully destroy the roots of the brambles a bit. Not sure if it works, and yes, turning over the soil destroys what's in the soil. We've heard about that as well. We just don't know which path we should follow, and we should probably make our own mistakes to learn from them. So partly we're going to turn the ground around, and partly we will leave it as is, and we'll just see what happens, what the differences will be. So there are still a lot of brambles on the ground, and here you can see the starts of the brambles coming out of the ground. So there's a lot of bramble roots in the ground, and let's see if we can cut it up with that. Well, that's a beast of a machine. Holy smokes! But I'm getting the hang of it. Let's continue. So we plowed this area, the area with most of the brambles, and the rest of the area you can see it's still green, so that we didn't plow. There weren't too many brambles over there. So we'll keep that as is and just see how that behaves in time. So now let's get the trees over here. So we bought 4 nut trees, 21 fruit trees, of which apple, plum, peach, pear, figs, and also some exotic variants, just to see what happens, like probably most of the people do, and it doesn't work out at all. But we bought lychee, papaya, avocado, and a couple of others, and we bought 4 nitrogen fixers. We're completely new to this concept, so yeah, we looked up a couple of things, and you hear a lot of talking with poor soil about nitrogen fixers. So we went and we thought we'll buy about the same amount of nitrogen fixers as fruit trees and stuff, but we couldn't really find those. But since we're in Portugal, we have invasive species that are nitrogen fixers as well, like the mimosa. So we might just take a hike into the wild and cut some mimosa there in the near future. But first we're going to get this all into the ground. We've bought some universal substrate, check. We've got some sticks, check. Now let's start planting these darn trees. It's a bit windy today, So less talking, more time lapses.
We started with measuring the distances between the trees. We read a lot of different stories about the distance, starting from very near to each other and cutting away trees later on, to people recommending distances up to 20 meters. We decided to space the trees every 3 meters because that fits our land at best, and we can always prune the trees if they become too big. We used our earth drill to dig the holes. Even though the soil wasn't too hard, it surely made the work easier than using shovels. And beside the essential compost, every tree received a wooden post for extra stability.
The first field is filled. We've planted 11 fruit trees over here, a couple of exotic fruit trees, and a couple of other fruit trees. And now we're going into phase 2. Phase 2 is right beside the field of phase 1, and that's over here. It's a sloping piece of land between 2 rows of vines. So the first step we have to do is trim it all and see what's underneath. Trimming is done. We found a few oak trees as well, so we will keep those. The rest of the brambles and grass we cut short, and there's also already a big fruit tree on this part of the land, so we'll keep that as well, even though it's not in the best shape. And what we also found is a concrete lid, so we're guessing this is from the old septic tank of the ruin that's up there. Not entirely sure though, but we'll keep it closed for now. But it's an interesting find again. So we cleared all of the brambles in this area as well. Except for what you're looking at against now. This insane wall of brambles is not on our land. So, not on our land, not our problem. So now it's time to get the drill out and start drilling. Hola.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Last tree of the row, isn't it?
Yes.
Another row done. So we have phase 1, the field. Now we have phase 2, the row between the vineyard. And now we still have a couple of trees left. So let's see what we're gonna do with that. I just realized how easy you can get used to things. Because a couple of weeks ago, you could see us finalizing our water system. And it's been functioning great. And because we finalized this, we were able to start this project. I just realized it right now. Because we can do this, of course, put the trees in the ground, but without an irrigation system for the trees, they'll probably suffer a lot in the summer, but also right now that they have just been planted. And because we finished the water system, we have a tap over here, right next to the location of where we planted the trees. So that's just a fun thing, how things get together, how you can just keep on making baby steps, step by step, even without noticing them. Now that we've planted the first field and the second row, we still have some fruit trees left. And these we want to plant here on our vegetable garden. Because as you can see, it's quite an open space, and somewhere around here we have the border of our land. But also on the other side of the land, which is not ours, but the neighbor's land, it's also been cleared by the previous owners. Maybe just to get a bit of distance between the brambles and this field, I don't know. But now it's not really clear where our border is. And for that, we need to locate our cornerstones. Now the northwestern cornerstone I've already tracked down before we placed the shipping containers, because those are pretty near that border, our northern border, and this is our western border. So we've tracked down our northwestern cornerstone, and now we have to track down the southwestern cornerstone. And then we know where the border is. But the southwestern corner is in what we call the jungle. It's not accessible at the moment. It's all covered in spiky bushes like these. And it has a height of about 1.5 meters. A lot of years of vegetation that hasn't been trimmed. So what I did is cut a way through it. So let me show you what I've cut until now. There we have it. Our southwestern cornerstone. So now we know that the border is around here. So I placed a pin on Google Maps of the southwestern cornerstone, the northwestern cornerstone. So now we can make a fictive line, and we know on which side of the border we want to plant our trees, because we want it to form the border, more or less, define the border, more or less, but we also want them to be on our side of the border. So, let's get started. So now that we know where the cornerstones are, we know where the border is, and now we can start planting the trees. Holes drilled with the ground drill, filled up with fresh compost. Now let's get those trees in. The last one. Done. So, we've planted all our fruit and nut trees. Yeah! The only thing we now have to do is a couple of other trees, nitrogen fixers that we bought. And then in the next episode, we'll probably get the irrigation system installed and maybe some ground covers. Yeah. Up to the next episode. See you. Ciao.